Watching News at Prime, let's take you back now to one of our leading stories. It looks like we might have a shake-up in the Gauteng Metro. Well, at least in the city of Johannesburg. The latest being ActionSA deciding to back the ANC, but its support is conditional. Funzi Ngobeni is the party's Gauteng chairperson and joins us now. Mr. Ngobeni, good evening to you. And thank you very much for your time. I think it's only fair to begin with this question about whether ActionSA is taking valuable lessons here, particularly in politics, regarding the use of the word never. What am I referring to? Your party has a long-standing attitude towards working with the ANC because you were clear you might get tainted.
Good evening, Collie, and good evening to the viewers of Newzroom Afrika. I mean, I think the politics of today, in particular, Collie, gives us an indication that that phrase of not wanting to work with parties, it's no longer really going to work, or at least to assist political parties like ourselves. Who want to really make a difference in the lives of our residents. So, yeah, indeed. I mean, we have considered the position that we've adopted in the past, but more than that, we have engaged with our structures. After the elections, we obviously went to the ground and did a review of our election performance, engaging with various structures in the party, including our caucuses in the three metros, and the view of our structures and the members on the ground is that the metros in particular are really suffering from the instability that is happening.
Yeah,
the residents who have voted for us in 2021 are asking us difficult questions like what are we doing? The number of votes that they gave us. To improve the conditions that they're living in. And it was important for us as a party, the Senate, the highest decision-making body of the party, to reflect on that.
All right.
And eventually, over the weekend, we made a decision that we are definitely going to announce this engagement and the way forward, which is what we are talking about today.
So how soon should Johannesburg residents expect changes, particularly in the mayoral seat?
Look, we anticipate that this coming Friday, this coming Thursday, there will be a council meeting in the city of Johannesburg. This council meeting in particular will deal with two issues. One is the long-standing loan that the city has been wanting to pass, but they couldn't pass it because they obviously had a disagreement amongst themselves, this coalition that is currently running, but also because of issues that we had raised ourselves as ActionSA in regards to this loan. We have subsequently engaged with the ANC and the MMC of Finance to get further details on the loan itself, and our caucus is quite satisfied that all those queries that they had have been addressed, and we are going to support this loan so that we can be able to see service delivery being delivered to the residents. Secondly, the issue of the 200 rand surcharge that has been introduced by City Power is a matter that we have raised sharply in Johannesburg. Our caucus and our caucus leader have been really at the forefront of challenging the mayor on this matter. And as part of this agreement with the ANC is that surcharge must be rescinded. There must be a council resolution that says this 200 rand will now fall off, and because our residents cannot afford it, and it's quite unnecessary as well, because we are of the view that there's many ways of generating revenue for City Power in Johannesburg, and among those is to collect money from those who are not paying, who can afford to pay, but who are getting away with murder all the time. They connecting illegally, and we need to make sure that we get to them before we can be able to put an extra burden on law-abiding residents. So on Thursday, it will be the first changes that the residents will start feeling, and then in the next week or so, the mayor will resign, the speaker will resign, and we'll have an election of the new speaker and the new mayor.
Okay. And you seem quite confident about what you've just said, the latter part of your statement, that the mayor will resign, the speaker will resign. It sounds as if this is all going to be voluntary. Before I ask you whether there is an express undertaking from the ANC that Mayor Gwamanda is as good as gone, I'd like for you to just listen to the leader of Al Jamaa, Mr. Hanif Hendricks, relating specifically to the question around Kabelo Gwamanda. Let's take a listen.
Our relationship with the ANC, especially the regional committee of the ANC, is very sound. The regional committee of the ANC won't do anything without consulting me, and we are due to meet on Tuesday. No structure of the ANC, whether it's the regional committee of the ANC or the provincial leadership or the national leadership or the Big Seven, have made any decision with regard to the mayorship of the city of Johannesburg.
Mr. Ngobeni, do you think that Mr. Hendricks has been overtaken by events here?
It could be, Mr. Mgambi, but we hope that we will not have to go through a motion of no confidence route. It's unnecessary, but I have confidence that the ANC leadership will handle that. It is their partner. It's someone that they've been working with, and it will be important that they engage with them and ensure that they are respected in the entire thing and not being taken for granted. Ours is not to bring instability into the city. It's to do the opposite, to ensure that there is stability, that we are able to work with everybody, and ensure that the residents of Johannesburg benefit from this approach. So,
all right.
we hope that they will be able to resolve that, but we have to move as quickly as possible to ensure that we bring normality in the lives of our people here in Johannesburg.
Just a question of clarity around all of these plans that you've outlined, whether it's the 200 rands monthly surcharge that's got to be reversed in your words, and you're talking about a loan that needs to come to being so that the city can use it for whatever is planned for it. All of this, it would seem, at least from my end, that this is what the executive arm of the city is going to be seized with, because if I listened carefully to your media briefing today, your role is going to be that of oversight. You are going to be primarily in charge of the legislative arm of the government. How do you plan on ensuring that these much needed plans, by the way, are implemented if you are playing the oversight role?
Yeah, so I mean, it's an important question, Claudia, because in our engagement with the ANC, we have made it clear that there's a number of issues that needs to be really looked at in the city. That's really together we need to work towards fixing. I mean, the inner city rejuvenation is one of them. We know that there's been a water crisis in the city, mostly caused by dysfunctional infrastructure that is actually run by Johannesburg Water. So we need to work towards fixing that. We intend to bring a series of motions, which we are going to, declare, upfront to the ANC on what is it that we really want to see happening in the city. And through these motions, with an agreement that we will have, we'll be able to see the executive implementing some of this. Most importantly, we'll be holding a serious position in the legislature that will ensure that whatever that we have promised needs to happen. The speaker's position is one of the powerful positions that you can have in the municipality, and we will use that position responsibly to ensure that all these service delivery, frontline service delivery issues are attended to by the executive.
Yeah.
We are not signing any agreement with the ANC. We intend to hold them accountable. We also hope that they will also hold us accountable equally, so that we can be able to do what is right for the residents of Johannesburg. So all these things, we are agreeing on them. There's no, issues that are raised from their side. And I think, we'll be able to achieve that. And these are really matters that all of us are concerned about. They are also concerned about all these issues, and they want to see them resolved. And we are here to come and ensure that we assist them and hold them on the line to ensure that all this is achieved and achieved within time. So that is going to be our role at Koli, and we will make sure that the residents of Johannesburg are kept abreast of any development that relates to all these matters, so that they know how far we are, towards achieving what we have set out to achieve.
All right. I want to end on the question of corruption, because a very interesting statement was made by the leader of ActionSA today, and he said the ANC is not the only corrupt party in South Africa. Yes, they may have committed the bigger version of corruption, but there are others too. I'd like for you to educate us on who else do South Africans need to know about, and particularly when it comes to thieving, stealing from the people.
Only I think our president has been open about this matter even way before the elections. I think he's the same president of ActionSA who spoke about the Tony Leon matter. When he was the mayor, that Tony Leon approached him and wanted him to facilitate something for him in the city of Johannesburg. Tony Leon belongs to the Democratic Alliance. We have also been raising these issues of corruption in Swat in relation to the Rooiwal water treatment plant, where Edwin Sodi received a contract in 2019, which was under the DA administration at that time. And it's a matter that we have raised sharply and consistently. And we want to point out, using those examples to say, indeed, corruption can be found everywhere, even in the ActionSA. If it's found there, we have to expose it, and we have to deal with it decisively. And that's why we are saying, yes, it's ANC, yes, it's a DA, but also ActionSA can also fall a victim to this, fall prey to it through our deployees or anyone that will be able to to misbehave. And if that happens amongst ActionSA members, the residents must judge us on the action that we will take in regards to those members.
I am completely out of time. In fact, I've already been wrapped, but I can't let you go without spelling out exactly what it is that you are insinuating that Tony Leon asked the ActionSA leader for, because before you and I are probably even done with this interview, Tony Leon will be calling on us to say, I've been defamed on your station. I need a right of reply. So I better be able to question him based on what you have said. So please spell out what it is that Tony Leon wanted.
Yeah, look, Akoli, I mean, this is not the first time this matter is raised. I think it's also on the book that, Michael Beaumont, who was the chief of staff of President Mashaba when he was the mayor, the Accidental Mayor book. I mean, if you read that book, you'll be able to even see the emails that went into the mayor's office in regards to this matter. So it's not something that Leon will be hearing for the first time. Our president has tagged him even on Twitter about this matter to say, here's the man that came to my house asking me to be linked with officials in the city so that he can be able to benefit from tendering of some sort. So it's not something new. So if he calls your station and wanting a right of reply, that will be the right thing to do. And I hope that will provide to him so that he can be able to dispute that and challenge it, even as far as taking it to court or whatever, because it is a public thing that has been mentioned. It's also in the book that the president as authorized, written by Michael Bowman. So it's not a new thing at all. And we want to make sure that we put it clearly that, yes, indeed, the ANC in terms of corruption, and the other parties that have been mentioned in the VBS, the DA as well. So corruption is an enemy number one for South Africans, and it must be uprooted wherever it raises its head. And we must speak about it as well, and expose it wherever we find it. So there's no doubt about it.
Funzi Ngobeni, leader of ActionSA in Gauteng, thank you very much for your time.